At work, she lowered her head to answer a phone call. When her boss walked in, he dropped a stack of files onto her desk, and immediately told her to change her clothing style, saying the way she dressed made female coworkers uncomfortable. She shot back at him without hesitation, and left him speechless on the spot. That woman would later become national news in the United States just 2 years later, and this is based on a true story. Erin is a single mother, raising 3 children completely on her own. This was already her 9th job application call, and every single one had ended in rejection. 6 years had passed, 2 failed marriages, and 3 kids later. Her life had completely fallen apart, and things only got worse that same day. She was driving normally, when another car suddenly slammed into her. The impact threw her violently. Her car was destroyed and she was injured. She already owed $17,000 in damages. She demanded full compensation from the other party. Her lawyer assured her the case was strong. He said there was no way they could lose. But the opposing lawyer completely changed the tone in court. He brought up her divorces, her financial struggles, and even her family situation. Her 3 children were dragged into the argument. They suggested she was unstable and trying to profit from the accident. Erin finally snapped in court. Her reaction escalated everything instantly. The judge shut the case down and dismissed it entirely. No compensation, no resolution. Erin was furious and shaking. She could barely even form words. At that moment, she had only $74 left in her bank account, fresh from a serious car accident. And now she had lost her lawsuit completely. Her apartment was falling apart, cockroaches crawling through the kitchen at night. Her youngest daughter cried non-stop in her arms. There was no safety net left at all. But she didn't collapse. She used her last bit of money to take her children out to eat. She sat there quietly, pretending everything was fine for them. Afterward, she tried calling her lawyer again, asking if there was any possible way forward. No one picked up, not even once. So she went directly to the law firm in person. She wasn't there to argue anymore. She was there to ask for a job. After losing everything, she truly had nowhere else to go. Years of exhaustion, debt, and parenting alone had broken her down. Finding stable work felt impossible. The boss told her they were fully staffed, but Erin didn't accept that answer. She pointed out unanswered client calls ringing in the office. She said if they were truly full, nothing would be left hanging like that. She told him she was smart. She worked hard, and she could handle anything they gave her. And if she didn't get a job that day, she wasn't leaving. Eventually, they gave in. She was hired for basic clerical work. On her very first day, she asked for an advance on her paycheck. Her children needed food immediately. Peter, the boss, felt conflicted. He saw how desperate she was. He handed her $100 in cash. He told her payroll was closed until Monday, and that was all he could do. Erin accepted it quietly, even though it wasn't enough. That night, after her children fell asleep, the new neighbor started repairing a motorcycle outside at midnight. The noise was unbearable. Erin stormed over immediately and told him to stop. Before the man could even respond, she launched into a full confrontation. Sharp, direct, and unfiltered. The man calmly introduced himself. His name was George. Instead of getting angry, he actually asked for her number. Erin found it ridiculous. Her life was already falling apart, and this stranger was acting interested in her. Still, she didn't hold back. She told him everything without filtering it. Her children's ages, her divorces, her financial situation, and how little money she had left. Then she gave him her number anyway, and told him he probably wouldn't call. But George didn't disappear. He kept showing up. He liked her honesty, her bluntness, her strength. He even offered to help take care of her children. Erin shut that idea down quickly. She told him not to misunderstand anything. There was nothing between them. One day at work, Erin was sorting through files when she came across a strange case. A company called Sinclair Electric was offering $60,000 to buy a house, but the file included multiple medical reports, and the entire family listed in those reports was sick. That immediately caught her attention. The next day she went to meet the homeowner, Donna. Erin asked why medical records were attached to a property buyout. Donna said it was just a paperwork mistake. Years earlier, a power plant had been built nearby. The company used a chemical called chromium in its operations. They claimed it was harmless, even beneficial. They offered free annual health checkups, and paid for medical expenses to reassure residents. Donna didn't want trouble. She just thought the buyout price was too low. But Erin felt something wasn't right. She consulted a chemistry professor. He explained that chromium comes in different forms. Some are safe, some are stable, but hexavalent chromium is highly toxic. Long-term exposure can cause severe health damage, including cancer, organ failure, fertility issues, and even genetic effects on future generations. The professor told her the Water Authority would have records, but he also warned her not to push too aggressively. The next day, Erin went to the Water Authority anyway. She used careful conversation to gain trust, and quietly obtained internal documents. The records confirmed it clearly. The plant had been using hexavalent chromium. Waste had been discharged continuously. Groundwater contamination had spread for over a mile. Erin immediately sent everything to the professor, but when she returned to the law firm, she found her desk cleared out. Peter had decided she was a distraction. He fired her on the spot. Erin exploded in anger. She argued with him directly, and walked out carrying her belongings. At home, she was met with piles of unpaid bills, stacked everywhere she looked. The next day, she was back to zero again. Job hunting, survival mode. But then Peter suddenly showed up at her door. The professor had confirmed the contamination levels were extremely dangerous. Donna's family illnesses were likely caused by the plant. This was no longer a simple property case. It had become something much bigger. Peter asked her to come back. Erin agreed, but only under strict conditions. A raise and full benefits. Peter accepted. A legal notice was sent to the company immediately. But Donna still didn't understand the full situation. She only knew her family was sick. The medical data confirmed a disturbing pattern. Every illness matched chemical exposure symptoms. She finally realized the truth. This wasn't just her home. It was an entire community. Soon after, company representatives arrived. They offered to increase compensation significantly, but they refused responsibility. Peter realized the situation was far more serious than expected. The company warned them directly about its power. It was backed by a massive corporate structure. They had time. They had money. They could drag this out forever. That night, a couple visited the office. They were former neighbors of Donna. Their livestock had developed tumors years earlier. Their household had suffered repeated miscarriages. They had never connected it to the plant until now. Erin began to see the truth clearly. There were far more victims than anyone realized. She went door to door in the community. What she found was devastating. Children with rashes, cancer cases everywhere, people preparing for surgeries. Healthy families were almost non-existent. Some residents refused to talk. Others broke down while speaking. The emotional weight grew heavier every day. George continued helping with her children. Erin devoted everything to the case. Her son began struggling emotionally from her absence, but she couldn't stop anymore. Peter hesitated again. The costs were too high. The opposing company was too powerful. But Erin refused to give up. She said she didn't need legal expertise to understand what was right. Peter eventually agreed again. Erin personally collected water samples near the plant. She found poisoned wildlife and contaminated groundwater. She even received threats warning her to stop. George urged her to walk away, but she kept going anyway. 9 months passed. She had gathered more than 400 plaintiffs. The community fully trusted her now. Evidence showed 14 years of toxic waste leakage. The contamination had spread through soil and water systems. Peter still worried about the parent company's power. Then Donna's condition suddenly worsened. She required major surgeries immediately. Erin stayed with her and promised justice would come. They officially filed the lawsuit. The court accepted the case. Evidence proved the company knowingly misled the public. They had promoted a toxic substance as safe for years. Negotiations began again. The company offered a massive settlement. Erin refused immediately. She said money was not the solution. People wanted safety. They wanted normal lives. The offer collapsed. That night, George prepared to leave. He had bought earrings for her long ago. He wanted her to choose a different life, a life away from the case. But Erin didn't leave. The community was still counting on her. George walked away quietly, leaving the earrings behind. Erin kept working without stopping. Later, a major law firm joined the case. The pressure increased immediately. A new settlement offer came in. Large compensation, but with strict silence terms. The community wanted a public trial instead. The new lawyers questioned Erin's methods, but she remembered every victim by heart, every family, every illness, every story. And in that moment, everyone realized the same truth. No one understood the case better than she did. No one understood the people better than she did.